Are you ready for an electric car? There's been resistance in the past, but with falling prices and 250 miles achievable from a single charge, a quarter of London drivers say they're now considering the switch. How ready, though, is the capital to plug into this green revolution? As the biggest and fastest switchover is shelved in the Uber row, we sent Mark Jordan to investigate.
Electric cars. We've been talking about them for over 100 years. We just kept thinking the time had come.
In a few years, there's the strong prospect of seeing millions of them on the road.
And then just a decade ago, this, the G-Whiz, was Britain's top-selling electric car. Range, about 40 miles. So 2017, are we there yet? Over a century in the making, and most car manufacturers say yes, we are.
The technology is right, the price is right, and our customers are ready.
So charging up here for just 40 minutes, how many extra miles?
It adds about 200 miles to the range of the car.
Wow, 200?
200.
With billions invested, for around 18,000, you can now own an electric car with a range of 250 miles. But there's one gaping gap. Most London streets were built in the age of horse and cart, in terraces and blocks of flats with nowhere to plug in a car. The clock's ticking, with 9,000 deaths a year linked to London's toxic air and a government ban on petrol and diesel car sales after 2040. I want to know whether this great global city has a master plan to plug in.
As many as 1 in 4 would-be car buyers in London and the South East region would consider buying an electric car over the next 2 years. That places a huge challenge on the capital's infrastructure because it will mean that with current provision there will be 780 electric cars competing for every single public charging point, which is clearly an unsustainable position.
The shocks of being an electric pioneer.
All I want to do is take the car off the road and charge it safely.
Councils deliberately blocking you from charging on your drive. The fistfuls of accounts you'll need to pay for rival chargers.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
And sparks fly as the petrol heads block charge points.
It's the charging bays for the electric cars.
Oh, have you look? There's a massive chuff inside.
Andy has been iced.
ICE stands for internal combustion engine, a normal car if you like, blocking an electric charge point. It's just like me parking this at a petrol pump and then walking off. You wouldn't do it.
I have asked quite a few people to move from an electric charge bay. One person said I should get a bullet in the head. Other people have been told they'll knock me out. It's ludicrous.
Minicab driver Shafiq is furious about authorities pouring public money into near useless charge points.
They just take the grant money, it's not policed, some is not clearly marked, and so now I have to go somewhere else.
4 years ago, TfL spent tens of thousands on these charge points at Stanmore Tube Station, but not a single sign ring-fences them for electric cars.
There's 12 electric charging points here. One car is plugged in. The rest are either petrol or diesel vehicles with no charging capability. There's no punishment, there's no enforcement.
Seems crazy, but Source London inherited these chargers from TfL, whose contract with the car park doesn't allow spaces to be reserved. 4 years on, both hope to fix this soon.
TfL wants to get rid of the pollution. They've taken the money and they're gone. The taxpayers should be asking for their money back.
It's time for central and local government to step up to the plate and to put their money where their mouth is. The electric revolution could stall very quickly if the infrastructure for charging is not put in place.
Just weeks before TfL revoked their license, Uber pledged all 40,000 of its London cars will be electric in just 7 years. That's 25 years before TfL's own pledge to a zero-carbon London. Uber's trials have been an eye-opener.
What we learned was that we need significant improvements in the charging infrastructure in and around central London. So we need rapid chargers, centrally located. When you're an Uber partner driver, time is money, And so you can't afford to spend 5 to 7 hours off the road during the middle of the day charging your battery.
Unlike plugging in at home overnight, rapid chargers are game changers.
A rapid charger will charge up an electric car in 3/4 of an hour.
How many of those are there in central London?
Oh dear, is a handful.
The Energy Savings Trust say there are just 5 public rapid charge points available in all inner London. Justin says his only option was an expensive Tesla, allowing him to plug into their much bigger, exclusive rapid charge network.
Oh, there's no comparison. Tesla have just done it. Local councils, bless them, they're trying, but they just don't get it. None of the people in these councils drive electric vehicles. They can't possibly understand. I think they've just taken a government grant. I've covered 64,000 miles in this car now, and I've saved about £14,000 in petrol.
But when Uber drivers had to use public rapid chargers, their cost per mile was almost identical to going back to a petrol hybrid.
Unfortunately, at this moment in time, there just aren't enough public rapid charging points, so that's why we've had to instigate the investment to build our own network.
So you're building them yourselves?
Yes.
But Uber's Tesla-style commitment now shot down after TfL revoked their license.
Teslas are a really valued contributor, but they aren't the only solution for London because you have to have a Tesla to get access to those points.
Tesla, an American company, has more rapid charge points in London than you do, TfL.
Our programme is to expand 75 rapid chargers in London by Christmas or by the end of this year, expanding to 150 by the end of next year. So that's quite a rapid expansion programme. Those charge points will be open to everyone who needs them.
But research by Uber rival Addison Lee suggests over 2,000 rapid charge points would be needed if just a quarter of London's cabs and taxis went electric. But with new cars offering from 150 to 300 miles on one charge, most of us will only need to plug in at home. To dig up and put chargers in just one London street would cost hundreds of thousands, but one company is doing it for just a fraction of that. Cabled and Ready, this German company converts lampposts into chargers for 6 London boroughs.
There are more than 700,000 lampposts in London. So if you assume that only 1 in 10 could be used easily and converted, that would make 70,000 charge spots.
TfL and the boroughs hope to double slower residential chargers to 3,000 by 2018.
It's like a mobile phone. It's you get a device, you get a subscription, you get a tariff, and unfortunately you get also a monthly bill.
This growing demand for electric cars is worrying the national grid. So in a nutshell, the worry is blowing the fuse on the street.
Yes, if we get lots and lots of EVs, there is a risk of that happening.
In Chiswick, the power industry gave 10 electric cars to volunteers on one street.
We were deeply impressed by your acceleration.
There was only one occasion I remember when the system cut out on us.
Just one more challenge for the electric revolution. Set a timer and stagger your charging. Watch out for that parking war and hunt down your rapid charger. This is the greatest change on our roads since the horse was replaced by the internal combustion engine. The horse trough stands empty. Ghosts past and present await our electric future.